So first, this meeting is being recorded by the Open Space Task Force. If any other persons are doing the same, you must notify me at this time. We'll call this meeting to order. Our meeting of the Open Space Task Force of Sustainable Greenfield Implementation Committee. I'd like to welcome Nancy as official member now. So, and with Dan, we're kind of just getting to what our vision was, which was 3 SGIC representatives, a Conservation Commission representative, a Recreation Commission representative, and other members of the public who wanted to be a part of the team. So I think we're in an awesome place as far as our membership. It's great. And we'll go around. We do distinguish between voting and non-voting, but just for the record, that is meaningless. And everybody is welcome to participate throughout. And there's no difference in value. So I am Jonah Keene. I'm the chair of this committee and a member of SGIC.
And I'm Francoise Hat, and also a member of SGIC and member of this task force.
Nancy Hazard, member of SGIC, and this.
Pat Sorrentino, member of the task force. I'm a non-voting.
Patty O'Neill, member of the public and a non-voting member.
Allison Gage, also a member of the public and a non-voting member.
Emily Bloss, I'm a member of the Conservation Commission.
Awesome. And Dan, our Recreation Commission rep, is traveling and said he might be able to tune in, but he may not. And our conservation agent, Jessica, is planning to tune in a bit. So our first order of business is just approving minutes from our last 2 meetings. Shout out to Francoise, who put together minutes for a meeting she did not attend from the recording, which I'm very grateful for.
Actually, better than being here, because I could back up.
Nice. Awesome. So do we have a motion to approve our minutes from September 8th and October 27th?
Well, I'll move, accept it then.
Yeah. Is there any discussion, or is there a second rather first?
Second.
All right. Is there any discussion of them? Any changes, edits? Hearing none. All in favor of approving these minutes?
Right.
I'll abstain because I don't think
You were not a member. Great point.
Aye.
All right. That passes.
All
Our
right, so
one-
I'll
we have-
make them, I'll change the draft.
Yeah.
I'll take the
Sure.
draft up.
Yeah.
And then you send them to Jonathan?
Previously, Jonathan, although he just told me now to send them to Amy, who is the
Oh.
SGIC
Yeah.
city rep. Although he also responded indicating that maybe posting the minutes is not a requirement, but we will continue to do that.
But I mean, we don't post them.
Well, we send them in to be posted.
Right. But if you notice, somebody had noticed in the SJC meeting, or maybe it was Patty, somebody, they posted minutes of these meetings until October of 24, and after that, nothing.
I think
And
we
it's really
stopped.
hard to find them.
I think we stopped sending, so I sent ours, and now they are up, with the exception of the 2 months we can't find.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So
But the recordings are,
the recordings are not.
yeah.
Yeah.
do
You have to
the
like.
recordings sit on GCTV or
They're supposed to, but it's
Yeah.
hard to find.
It is.
When I was looking for them,
Yeah.
I had to ask Jonathan for the link, and he gave me the password, and yeah.
Yeah. It's a little tricky to find. No problem. Okay. So moving on to the bulk of why we're here. We're gonna look at.
Wait. October minutes?
Oh, I just did them as a,
Oh, you did both of them?
yeah,
Oh,
that works for you.
well, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess there was no comment on either
Yeah,
of
I
them.
don't think so.
Really, I had no questions. Okay.
Yeah.
they're perfect.
We trust you.
Okay, so the next step is for us to look at progress on our priorities. I think the bulk of what we're hoping to talk about today is looking at the maps. We could rearrange our order a little bit. I think that wouldn't be a problem. And just give Jessica a little more time.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
And before we move on, what Wi-Fi are you on?
Is it? It's COG_TH_guest_. Up there, it just says guest 2.4, but
Oh, thank you.
it starts with COG_TH.
Perfect, thank you.
Great. So let's just talk about our second priority and save the first for a moment. Maintain and improve city trails. Is there any reporting back on that from our Francois
Yeah.
and Pat team?
Yeah, I mean, we got the map from, I think, was it Allison who sent us the map? from Francois?
Yep.
So Pat and I met, looked at it inside, and then we decided we would kind of go into ground truth then because it looked a little confusing to us. So I went out twice, we went out once together. And it's, it's good, but colors are weird. I mean, the colors don't match what's in Highland Park. We're talking about Highland Park trails, but only to Highland Park. And the flagging doesn't always match the color on the map.
Yeah.
And also a lot of trails are missing. And I had asked Travis Brewery, who I had talked to before about these, and he said that, well, the recreation department wants to discontinue some of the trails. So of course they don't want to put them on the map if they're going to be discontinued.
Yeah.
However, the one that goes from the parking lot and that cuts back to the red trail, the one we always take.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I can't imagine they would discontinue that one because they just put a lot of work into it. They just,
that's
put
right,
planks there.
And there's also
So-
other trails in there that they're like little shortcuts that I don't see what the problem is, why they would be discontinued. I mean, I can see like, there's some brand new trails that I think the mountain bikers put in, and I can see maybe discontinuing them. And some of them are on like a slope,
Yeah.
but I can't see just kind of it looks like it wasn't done very organized, maybe.
Yeah. Interesting. I wonder if some of those were not, if they were rogue trail builders.
Yeah.
That they were not approved trails, so they just don't want to include them, perhaps. I don't.
No, these are, because I've been going there for like over 30 years. These are trails that everybody's been using for years. Like
Yeah.
it's a main trail. It just connects the upper trail that goes kind of at the base of the cliffs, and then that main trail that's on the bottom by the vernal pools. It's just a little connection, and
Yeah.
I mean that's been there for decades. It's probably been there for, well, I don't know, a long while.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
and we're not finished either. We've just
No.
done like a section.
And I emailed Dan, and I guess the map he said he had is the same. I think he said he thinks it's the same.
Okay.
So it'll be more interesting when Dan comes back
Yeah.
and discuss that with him and see, well, what is the recreation department planning on doing there?
Yeah.
Are they gonna make a map? Are they gonna flag?
Blaze.
Huh?
Reblaze.
Reblaze them? Are they gonna give names? I mean, yeah, one of the problems we feel like is that, say you're in there and you're lost and you're on the phone and you say, well, I'm on the Blue Trail. Well, yeah, the Blue Trail goes all over the place. It would be nice to have sections that are named, or at least maybe say the Diamond Blue Trail or the Round Blue Trail, or the, so at least you would know more or less where people are.
Right.
And sometimes, I have a Facebook group called Friends of Greenfield Highland Park, and people report things. Oh, we saw a coyote on, and it's nice to know
Yeah.
where.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I feel like a accurate map that's where you can tell people where you are or where things are seen would be really helpful. And so I'd like
Yeah.
to know what the recreation department has in mind.
Yeah. Great.
The other thing was did all trails have the maps, have the
Yeah.
trails all accurate, pretty much, we think? Well,
I mean, they're
checked.
all there, they're pretty much all there.
Yeah,
Whether they're accurate or not, I don't know, because I'm walking and it's like, it looks like I'm walking next to the trail, but I
Right.
don't know if my phone is off or if all trails is off.
So you're walking in just the Highland Park area?
Yes.
Okay.
For now, I mean.
Yeah,
we
for
can
now.
then
Yep,
Continue
yep.
Right.
to the Poet Seed and other ones.
I think it was the last meeting when Dan was here. I asked him about biking and walking and designating.
Right.
And it sounded like things were very much actually being focused on right now by the rec department. So this is a great time. It's great what you're doing.
Yeah, probably a good question for Dan and maybe Christie or someone else over there. How's the best way for us to
Right.
engage?
Right.
Mhm.
If they are actively working on it, make sure that we are connected in a helpful way. Great. Anything else on that? Thanks for your work on that. And so we, on the chart of things that are happening, we have also determining which city trails are within priority habitat. And exploring trail maintenance that can occur where there's no permitting needed. Those are other things that are on the
Right.
to, yeah.
It just came to me. I do a fair amount of work in those areas to cut invasives and
Yeah.
with a bunch of people. And a friend of mine recently, actually two people, separate people and differently, came to me and said, "Oh, have you seen all the burning bush in such and such a place?" So I'm aware that it has spread much more than I was aware of.
Yeah.
What
And I
is?
don't, it was burning bush. the
Oh,
euonymus.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Now,
at
in the
this time
fall,
of-
you can really see it because. all of
This
a
time
sudden
of
it's
year is
red.
when you see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we've been working on a couple of patches that are fairly concentrated. And what the two locations that my friends showed me, they're much more dispersed. And they're kind of everywhere, which shocked me
Mhm.
because I have not seen that before.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah.
I don't know whether this committee wants or cares or I don't know what you plan, if you plan to do anything about invasives or not, but it's something that I've been working on for a couple of years along with a few other people.
Care, definitely. I think the biggest question for us has been capacity of what to focus on, the
Right.
role that we can play.
I'm happy, if you're interested, I'm happy to report on what we do and what, if you care or not.
So you have a group of people who are removing invasives?
Correct.
Do you need a permit from anyone for this? or-
Well, that's an interesting question. We're kind of legal. I started maybe 5 years ago and then and Christy said, "Oh, sure, do whatever you want."
Oh.
And then I discovered that that's not actually accurate. And so then we went through, we went to, is it Mass Wildlife and NH that long?
Yeah.
National Heritage, that's how you say it. We went to them,
Yeah.
they came, they looked at everything, or at least the two major areas we were looking at, applied for, okay, and so we have that. But I have to say, we're kind of wandering off of those spaces. But I think I'm a woman by the name of Carol Frost, who some of you
Oh,
may
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
She's absolutely wonderful.
Mhm.
But I'm pretty clear about where the rare and endangered species might be, and we're not working on those areas. And I think I don't care.
You're just pulling or cutting.
Cutting
Cutting.
at this
Yeah.
point, while I'm pulling the little stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've sent Kara a few updates and she hasn't really responded much. So I took that as, well, you don't really care. So
Excellent. Yeah, well, I mean, I would say from my perspective, that's something that we obviously care about. It's not in our focus area because we had to focus on something. But it's definitely relevant to what we're doing.
And if I may add, when we had our objectives and everything, Nancy wasn't part of the
Right.
group, so.
That's true.
Great point. Yeah.
And you're not assigned to anything, so you could add a goal and put you on it.
Great point, Nicholas, yeah.
Occasional reporting.
Great.
I was just thinking, Emily, because I think you were taking the lead maybe on the land management, or we were talking about a land management plan for all the parks.
Hmm.
So that
Ah.
would probably.
Oh, it would
that would-
land
that
over
would
there,
land
yeah,
in
no
there,
land
and
management.
you would you'd talk about it, because you can't talk about management without thinking about the basic plan, so.
Thank you.
Great. All right, the next is the pollinator plan. I know you were talking with Jessica about that. Do you want to wait until she's here for that, or is there anything else?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so we could move on to the community engagement, which Nancy and I self-selected from SGIC to help to coordinate the next step of SGIC's community engagement. And the question that came up at our last SGIC meeting and our last task force meeting is, do we want to combine and have a community event that is with SGIC, or does that seem too much? So I think what we wanted to discuss today was how we feel about that. So from the SGIC side, the main thing that we're seeking input on is the updated chapters. We just updated 2 chapters of the master plan that were, well, it's been a long process, but they were just approved. So that's something that we want to share publicly and get some public involvement around from SGIC side. I'm not sure, I think that's our main goal with that.
Yes, absolutely. Well, and the 2 chapters that were just updated, in fact, this committee came out of the fact that we finally, anyway, they're related, very closely related.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Land use was one and natural resources with another.
Right,
Right.
cultural, historical, and natural resources, yeah, yeah, so there's those 2 chapters. And the SGIC's next project is updating the economic development chapter. So I think we want to announce that or let people know that that's happening as well, but the main thing is focusing on the updated chapters. So due to the fact that those relate so closely to our work, we thought it could make sense to tie that into one event, but we also don't want it to be too big of a thing and not accomplish our goals for either, so.
So if they've already been approved, it's more of just like sharing out with the public, the findings.
Exactly, yeah, there was so much public engagement around the original master plan.
Right.
And so we're not even though it's been 10 years, we're not just doing a whole new version at the 10-year mark. We're slowly updating chapters. And so we figured there needs to be some public engagement. We had public engagement in the updating process. There were 2 public sessions,
Right.
but now that they're finalized, we want to just share them, invite people to be engaged in them more.
So it was 2 chapters.
Yeah,
And are you planning to do both chapters in one event?
I believe so, although it is a lot.
I
That
would
was up
say,
for discussion.
yeah, I was going
Oh,
to
yeah,
say,
Patty.
it's definitely up for discussion. You were there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, my feeling was that there were sort of ideas sort of floating all over the place. And so I suggested that a smaller group
Yeah.
think about it and come back with an idea.
Yeah.
So that's
Right.
this process. And the other person or people not sitting at the table, of course, are the planning board who okayed both chapters. So there
Right.
might be someone in the planning board who would like to also think about.
And we'll have a new city planner in like,
Today I heard was.
Oh, today.
I heard today was her first day. I happened to be having tea with her brother-in-law and she was like, oh, my sister started.
Who is this? I missed this.
No, Eric.
has
Yeah.
returned.
Is leaving.
So we have a new.
Eric retired.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He's not leaving until the 17th of December.
Oh,
There's crossover, right?
They're
For training.
crossover.
That's what I heard, and I don't know where. But I remember hearing that.
So, and someone's been hired?
Yes.
yeah, Ella Wise, it's her name.
Who?
I can tell you, Ella Wise. She's not from the Field area or the Valley. She's moving to the Valley.
This surprises me because I thought they.
Yeah, I
She wasn't gonna be done until he was gone.
Yeah, I didn't even know that Eric was retiring. Then I was like, Eric retired, someone else is hired. I was like, who is this? But I mean, well, I don't know if we can talk about this, but whatever. She used to work for MAPC, which is like the Boston area equivalent of the FERCog, and worked for the city of Boston in their, I don't know what department, you might know better than I do. But I'm super excited for Greenfield. I think it'll be great to have someone with that background.
Yeah. Awesome.
So my point of bringing that up was if we're having a new like planning board, maybe she'll have an interest in like what she wants to learn from the community or.
Right, great point.
Great.
Yeah.
Exciting.
I guess my other 2 cents would be, it might be nice to combine because I could imagine that if their SGIC is doing a share out of what you learned, then there might be some things that from us that are connected that we could be seeking input. So it's maybe more interactive rather than
Yeah.
just like telling people
Right. Yep.
something.
Yes, I guess the question for us is, we had talked about sharing the maps.
Yeah.
As sort of the big part of what we would be sharing. out
Right, right.
And getting input on these maps. Is there more you think that we want to be sharing beyond that? Yes.
Yeah, I
What
think-
do you think our other goals would be?
I think kind of what we've been trying to do with the maps and like distinguishing the different areas, kind of storytelling about what's going on. And what I really liked about the Conway plan was how much storytelling was part of it, and like trying to reconcile this like historical greenfield with the ways that the land has been kind of destroyed by some of the greenfield uses, and like, for example, the Wiley Russell Bridge. And yeah, I think there's a lot to say there. So I think that would be a good place to say it.
Yeah.
But still related to the maps. Not
Definitely,
another
yeah.
topic, yeah.
No, yeah, I think the maps will help us to be able to like show like how everything is kind of working together, or flowing together, how things were reached, how these decisions of the updates became recommendations.
And you know, in the recommendations, there's a recommendation and then there's, well, who's gonna be responsible for it?
Mhm.
And some of those, it's us, or as well, or we're
Right.
one of the players.
I have copies of the updates here if anybody would like to. Over.
So I don't know if SGIC wants to talk about it. Like you said, there's a lot of recommendations.
Right.
Will SGIC want to concentrate on, say, okay, this is all of them, but today we're gonna concentrate on, and it'd be nice
Right.
if they concentrate on one of the ones that we are somehow responsible for, then definitely combine.
I feel like it'd be really great to even like go over some of them together, because just reading through them over the weekend, there are like a lot of looks like opportunities for us to like there's a lot of funding that is proposed, like for DPW to manage trees, to manage invasive plants. There's quite a lot of work that is proposed, and I'm not sure who is going to be doing it. And I think community engagement is a big part of that, and kind of finding creative ways to do it. And that kind of works into our storytelling of like what kind of, how we can rethink how we're connecting with the land in Greenfield.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was, historically, or the last sort of big thing that SGIC did before COVID was a meeting, and it was about downtown. And so downtown wasn't any one particular chapter. It was not even part of one particular chapter. So I would just say, don't feel constrained at all about feeling like you have to put out what's in the chapter. Put out what and I actually think that SGIC, will probably, whatever this committee suggests or wants to move forward with, I think SGIC will embrace that and be happy, because they're not they want things to move forward. And if there's a great idea of what, like, I love this idea of the maps and land use and over time. And I think that's a topic that would engage people in a really great way.
Mhm.
Welcome, Jessica.
So, just to finish this up before we switch over to the maps, we had put down, so you're on this priority and you had expressed interest in this as well. Would you two be interested in chatting with us at a separate time? To sort of
Absolutely.
trying to map this out a little bit more and see if it makes sense to have 2 meetings or 1 or what they would look like? Okay, so we will be in touch about finding a time
So
for
that would be Emily and you and me and
Patty.
Patty. Okay.
Others are welcome, of course, but I know everyone's got a lot of stuff, so.
So John, is this a community engagement,
Yes,
something, okay.
yeah,
Oh, just-
exactly.
And I know we're gonna transition to the maps,
Yeah.
but don't need to go into it in depth, but Patty and I had a really productive walk on Griswold
Oh, yes.
Conservation Area
Yeah,
with Lincoln Fish, who's the forester who's been involved with the conservation of it and the management of it for 30 years. And with the younger forester who's going to take over those duties,
Oh.
Toby Carter.
yeah. Okay.
And so we got to walk over most of the property and we got a lot of good brainstorming in about how to approach getting a management plan for it.
Yeah.
And I really think it would be great to engage the public before we
Yeah.
get the plan so that people have buy-in and use it as an opportunity to educate people about our forests. And there's some really, really wonderful work that's been done there.
Yeah.
And Patty had a lot of great ideas about ways that the community could really benefit from and engage with that property. So I feel like that's a really nice opportunity.
What's the name of Toby?
Carter, Carter. And they're both part of Bay State Forestry.
With fish, I forget what.
Lincoln Fish.
Huh?
Lincoln?
That's
He was
great,
already, he was already the.
So I think we're gonna put together, Patty took some great notes. I took a lot of pictures, so we're gonna try and do a little presentation for the Conservation Commission. And maybe we can let everybody know when that happens
Mm.
and
Yeah.
just, start from there.
Great. Sounds good. Yeah, good to hear. Good. Okay, so moving on. Welcome to Jessica, Conservation Agent. Thanks for fitting in, juggling your schedule, and making this work.
Yeah, you bet.
So maybe I'll just turn it over to Allison, who's been working most closely on this, and let me know as we go along I'm happy to put maps up on the screen or however is best.
Yeah, do you want to throw up did they go through on Gmail?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. For some reason it was showing up as what happens in my email, but yeah, if you want to put up the land conservation priorities one, we can look at.
So the email that you sent out, did it have links to the maps? Because I couldn't find.
And they were
We're very technically challenged, so I'll just say.
give yourself more credit. You know enough to be dangerous. They were all attached as PDFs. Did they not show up as attachments?
Oh, it was a PDF.
Yeah, they should have shown up as attachments.
Okay.
I can send you links to.
Okay, that, I didn't explore the PDFs very clearly because I was expecting something different.
Gotcha. Oh, sorry.
The other map?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, this one. So this is the one that we looked at most closely last time, where all of the parcels that are graded on a scale from 0 to 5 in terms of their ecological or conservation value, based of the criteria that we had picked, such as their biomap, overlap with biomap, if they're in the 100-year floodplain, the Map River corridor. And then I updated it to take out the downtown area because we decided that we wanted to look at that area a little bit differently. I threw on some road names to try and make it a little bit easier to orient. And then the permanently protected open space layer is now on there.
Hmm.
So I think that's most of what we talked about, but generally open to feedback on if this is more easily to digest on a visual level, if we're including the information that we want to on here.
You change the color scheme too? I feel like it's easier to distinguish.
I no longer have access to my FERCog laptop, so I'm now learning QGIS, which is the free version. So
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
new, we can chat about it. So it's a new color palette.
Nice. Yeah, I think it's a little
It's nice.
easier. to
Okay,
distinguish.
great.
Yeah.
It's QG is actually so much easier to use. So
Yeah.
it's much more user friendly.
For me, the black lines are.
The parcel lines.
Yeah,
Everywhere. Okay.
parcel lines being
Yeah.
the same color as the permanently protected open space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being the same color, so what?
Yeah, just the protected space and the parcel lines, just kind of
Oh,
all.
I see what you're
They
saying.
blur a bit, yeah. They're, especially where there's smaller parcels and it can start to
Yeah.
look like it's protected land, like it right in here.
I love the protected space to really pop.
To be different, like maybe do like a hash
Um,
or like the dotted lines.
I wonder if the parcels can be like a duller color. So they,
Well, so it's still, I still wanted to show what their underlying value was, unless we don't really care.
they're underlying,
So-
Color?
I
So
mean
we-
the lines of the parcels, like it's the lines.
Oh,
of
the
parcels
lines,
could just be
okay.
Like
Just-
Yes.
Mhm.
a gray or some other like muted color so that the black lines look like a protected space.
Could the hash?
Or making the hatches, right,
Yeah.
a different color.
Yeah, I wonder
Yeah.
if there's a color that would not make it too muddy,
Yeah.
which is definitely a concern with adding another color in, but
Yeah, so just to go back to the underlying color, so the color under the hash refers to the ecological value. Is it okay to keep that, or if it's
Yeah,
already
yeah.
protected, we don't care?
oh, I see your point.
Like I could just make it as like a totally different thing.
I think it matters.
point.
I think
Okay.
the context is
Okay.
helpful. Without weighing downtown, like the way that the functions work in QJS, if you like subtract downtown, does that affect like the ranking of surrounding places?
No, because it's just parcel by parcel how much overlap there was.
Of all
With-
of the criteria?
Yeah, so no, it didn't affect the other parcels.
Yeah.
And then you were also saying to maybe take out the parcel lines from downtown. Is that visually cluttering?
Oh,
I think it's fine since there's nothing else really going on in there.
Okay.
But maybe if it were just at least a different color than the protected space.
Okay.
Are the rivers visible on this map?
They are not.
I was wanting to ask that, yeah, because I was
Yeah.
trying to find the Green River and I'm like,
They're
just like a
And
boundary
you
line.
can see the lines
maybe.
of them, but.
Yeah.
they're not
maybe I'm looking at it,
blue.
right, but it's hard to see.
I think
Would that be a useful thing?
it's up to us.
Would
Yeah.
be useful.
Well, I'm into water, so I'd like to know where the rivers are, because then that's also wildlife quarters and that sort of thing.
I think they were on an earlier version and they got dropped off.
They go through the green.
Yeah.
Right.
Because,
Because
because,
I'm thinking we were talking about the Green River corridor too, so it's like, if you look at this, you can't really tell.
Mm.
Yeah,
It does seem.
we know it's there, but there's
But
nothing.
I know this takes a lot of work too, so it's like.
That's not that hard, because I can just throw the layer back
You
on.
know,
Mhm.
I know, it's like, oh, I want to do this and I want that. And
Yeah.
then you want to- and then it becomes totally insane, but you know.
It's fun though.
Well,
It's fun, okay. then.
No, it is fun and I get like, I've stared at this for a long time and then I forget that like, oh yeah, those long colors are confusing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all helpful. And then,
I wonder, I was looking over at some of the maps that Conway had put together.
mhm,
And I wonder if, like, some of them, the way that I was also looking at the one that you sent, the pollinator.
Yeah.
Conway. And Conway had some that had like, patches and corridors.
yeah,
I wonder if that like is if maybe if it's this map or another map, I didn't actually get a chance to look through the ones that you sent.
Is it patches of habitat?
Yeah, I think, yeah, it's like existing, I guess. Yeah, patches that either exist or could exist. You want to take a
Like kind of just more doing a visual of this is an area that's well protected, or this is an area that we could focus, like that type of thing.
sort of, yeah. Here's another one that is from the Conway plan. And that's more of like a summary. So I think this is maybe what we were referring to as like a later perhaps map, like an analysis of like if this is our like raw data
Mhm.
that we can clearly see. And now what's the story that we're trying to tell of this? Like
Mhm.
what are we gaining from this?
Yeah, I could see maybe that version being like a second map where we take up the 0, 1s and 2s and maybe identify
Yeah.
those areas and like take out the downtown so you can just see things a little bit better.
Well, another thing that I was organizing my file, and at one of the SGIC meetings, Conway presented and they showed a stream that goes through downtown Maplebrook.
Yes.
And
It was underground for a while.
Sorry?
yeah,
Nancy's.
yeah, and it's really interesting to like visually see it going through downtown. And in the updates, they're talking about like looking at where all the stormwater is going and how the culvert of Maplebrook that goes underneath the town is like the main stormwater system. And that, like, if we are thinking of green infrastructure, like, I don't know if daylighting the stream is something that makes sense to do, or if that could be considered, then that could open up maybe a lot of like connections, like corridors, and maybe then it would be relevant again to the rest of the land. But definitely something like that could be zoomed in on for like a environmental justice sort of thing.
This is cool.
Nature parks, like just through green infrastructure.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to show that, but I definitely think it should come back in.
Yeah,
At some point.
I know I can't remember what the scope of the project is, but the FERCog is working on a stormwater related project. So they might be doing some map or like doing more mapping of the stormwater infrastructure that I could get eventually.
I do like the idea of including that information, but I'm also wary of it all being in one.
Right.
But maybe it's a collection of maps. That's sort of the document, because it already has a lot going on.
Yeah, it would have to
I
be
think so,
different.
too.
This is
Yeah.
that.
Very representative of like the current like situation, I think.
Yeah.
I like the approach of the, not the patches, although that's great, but the other one that's really, that gives a forest corridor and the farmland. That's nice because like you were saying before about the storytelling of it,
Yeah.
that's easier to understand.
Yeah.
This is, you know, like really good for work. This is good for a person who isn't involved in the work.
The other thing that I like about this one and this too, is it gives direction as to where you might want to acquire more land or somehow so that you can create that corridor. So up here, we can see which plots are conserved, but
Well, and this also shows us plots that are not preserved that we have a high ecological value on their own, maybe. not
right, but then the
necessarily
question
same.
is it going to create a corridor?
Right.
Are they connected?
Right.
And this map has the corridors, and then this interesting, it's sort of hard to see, but these patches.
Tie this into it too, the pollinator mowing.
Oh,
plan.
yeah, I haven't come to that, yeah, but
Yeah.
the patches of existing wild spaces, and are those patches, you know, connected to the corridors? Are they helpful, or how do they?
Yeah, I think maybe like keeping this map as it is what, you know, just a higher level overview, but then if I were just to focus on the 3s, 4s, and 5s, I could probably more easily show why the parcel is of value, whether that's for forest or farmland. So I did make that other map at one point, the like 7 different colors on top of each other. So like, yeah, doing a little bit more easier to understand storytelling version where there's like a lot less visual clutter without the zeros, ones, and twos.
And this does have, I'm not familiar with this layer. How
Yeah,
this exactly works, but it does have this newer biomap layer, this regional connectivity, which I assume takes some of what we're talking about into account.
yeah. So like, yeah, everything that you're saying is on here. It's just
I wondered
not-
about
it's
that.
not visual in
Yeah.
terms of
Mhm.
like, you can't look at this and say, oh yeah, that's the regional.
But can you, as you say, I'm not, I'm not a techie person. I just dream. I don't want to create work, but since this whole idea of layers, is there a way of putting a layer on and then taking it off or,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, being able to just kind of say, oh yeah, okay, now let's whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I think, yeah, this one was just supposed to live as a higher level. Okay, let's find some high value
Yeah, this is
parcels.
great.
And then we have the landowner information and maybe you could start doing some outreach.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
Yes.
please.
So I'm looking at the main map we're talking about, the land conservation priorities map, and the layers underneath. Did you end up weighting those differently, or is each layer have a value of 1, and so when you have a scale of 0 to 5 shown on the map, that just means like the 5 has 5 of those layers, is that right?
Correct. Yep. And I think if we were to decide, okay, we want to drill down on the 4s and 5s to do some outreach, then I could identify which of those layers are included. So we would be better
Right.
informed about what's there. But if you think from the city's perspective in terms of land conservation goals, if we should be weighting them, I'd be happy to figure that out. Or if you have input on what's more important than the others.
I don't have anything to add as far as like valuing one more than the other. I know last time we all kind of talked, we were talking about if if they should be weighted more than one each. But yeah, I don't necessarily think they should be valued differently at this
Right.
point. I was just wondering if you guys had decided, with like since we last talked. But I do have one more thing to add because we have a new conservation area that's not on the map yet. So that's
Oh,
Oh,
all right.
yeah, it's the Conti Golly Conservation Area, and it's just south of Route 2 in the kind of the southwest portion of the map. There's like
Oh, we're
3
here, right,
parcels.
thank-
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Over this way somewhere.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
just
one of these.
above the hatched, permanently protected. It's like kind of like above that a little bit.
Yeah.
There's 36 acres, and there's another person that's a relative that wants to add to it that we're in talks with.
Oh, wow, exciting.
Great.
It is
Could you-
exciting.
Could you repeat the name, please?
It's called the Conti Golly Conservation Area, and it's not on our website yet. We haven't added it, but there should have been a press release that went out in the recorder.
And is that Conti with an I or with an E?
Yeah, CONTI
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
space Golly, GAULEY. And I can like send you guys, I created a data layer. I know we've struggled sharing data layers, but I can attempt to send you the data layer, if that's helpful.
Yeah, that would be great.
It's the area that Mary, was talking to us about.
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
I think based on Jessica's comment, I think it would be helpful for the map viewer to know that if the parcel intersects with one of those layers, then it's gets a 1. Or just figure out how to explain that a little bit more clearly in a sentence at the bottom, because otherwise there's actually, we all know what that means, but I'm realizing to someone, there's no explanation
Right.
Yep.
of how the scoring works.
Right.
So I'll do that.
I also wonder, so we pulled off downtown thinking a lot about this environmental justice layer being distinctly different. And the needs of the urban core being distinctly different from a human perspective. I wonder about the farmland. I don't know. I wonder if it makes sense for that to be just a separate color in some way, like, because I doubt there's a lot of prime farmland that's actively farmed that also qualifies.
In the downtown area?
No, in all of town. I mean, maybe I'm wrong on this, but I guess if our goal for conserving something is because it scores high for wildlife, the prime farmland is not relevant, right? And if we care about prime farmland, you know what I mean? Like if it's maybe it's not used as farmland, but there's prime farmland soil. That value of that, so that layer isn't as relevant to us, right?
Do you agree with
Or
that,
no?
Pat?
I would argue that it's an important conservation tool just to like recognize the value of that soil so that it's like another reason for why it shouldn't be developed and should maybe be prioritized for conservation, if not like maybe an agricultural preservation sort of thing.
APR.
And I think maybe there are some opportunities for agroforestry or agroecology that like maybe are some different ways of thinking about farming that could include native plants, like tree crops. Like there's a lot of momentum happening with like reviving chestnut trees and like
Right.
like improving native nut trees and like productive floodplain species. So and I think that there's a lot of opportunity for those to overlap, that farming and conservation with people involved in ways that they haven't really done in a very long time. That could be like that.
I hear and support what you're saying. I guess I'll push back a little bit just because that would mean active. Like, so if we're looking just to protect something, and the way it scores is because of its value for that, that would need some type of somebody doing something actively. It's not, we can't just put an.
I have a
description on it.
suggestion, because it
Yeah.
does sound like what you're putting your finger on is that one of these values is not like the other. Like
Right.
prime farmland soil, very distinct from a lot of the others, as
Right.
is environmental justice area.
Right.
But I'd say instead of us saying, well, let's throw it out, which isn't what you're saying, but like
Right.
you're just musing about, I would say, well, I would want to see a map that shows the priority and then also shows the prime farmland soils
Mhm.
so that we could make decisions informed by that. So,
Yeah.
because we could say, oh, well, we've got these 4s and 5s. We know we want to conserve in those areas. Which of them are farm soils? Which of them are actively used now or could be for a variety of uses? Because from a
Right.
conservation perspective, that really changes the picture in terms of the conversations you're having
Right.
and what tools you might be using. Maybe you'd be looking at APRs, maybe you're looking at conservation with ag language included so that there could be a change of use in the future, or maybe it's like reserve farmland if it's under trees right now. But I would want to have
Yeah.
more information about it, rather, because right now it's pretty hidden.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So I think
Yeah.
on that, like the map of the 3s, 4s, and 5s, and we would clearly show where the ag soils are, where the
Yeah, that's what this map from the Conway report pulls out. Like all of this is the prime agricultural soil. So
I don't think it's in conflict with conservation, even though what you're saying is true, that there's a different set of active tools that are used on farmland that are distinct from
a lot of what you do in conservation land,
Right.
but there's also a lot of overlap as well.
Yeah, I guess I wonder if there's value. Sorry, Pat, go ahead.
Yeah.
I,
I'm just gonna say, from a wildlife perspective, I've read a lot and seen it myself out in the real world, is agricultural areas can be really important for wildlife.
right.
And especially depending on how you do agriculture.
Absolutely.
So,
Right.
when you go to some giant feedlot out in the Midwest, the values there are pretty horrific, but when you look at hedgerows and how often something is paid, that all affects bird
Absolutely.
life and insects and everything else. So
100%. Yeah.
you don't want to just say agricultural area has no value. There's a lot of, so.
That's, yeah, okay. I need to clarify what I'm saying because I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it should be
Right.
pulled out.
Yeah.
Perhaps someone questioning if
Okay.
it should be pulled out and looked at separately, because currently there might be something that's a 3. Say we're going to look at 3, 4, and 5, and something's a 3 because it has farmland soils, but it's not currently being used as farmland. It's
Okay.
forest.
Mhm.
And does it make sense for us to include that criteria in that evaluation for conservation? And maybe there should be a separate evaluation that's specifically for thinking about an APR.
So would be maybe ecological conservation, and then there's be a farmland conservation map.
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
then,
like wondering if they should.
just like we're
yeah.
pulling out the urban core for the environmental justice and other.
But
And we-
as Pat says,
It'll be easier.
it does have ecological conservation, the farmland, because it's habitat that is,
100%, yeah.
that's different from, so
But that's.
wouldn't it be part of a corridor?
No, so that's true, but that's if we're talking about as ag land. So I'm talking about land that's not being used as ag land, but it has ag soil.
So it could be.
Oh, you mean it could be a forest right now?
Right.
Yeah.
But it would have that layer of prime farmland soil. And so it's scoring high because of that, but we're not actually using that.
Oh,
Like a lot of the
so
downtown
the
area,
ag means ag soils, it doesn't mean it's,
correct. Like a lot of the downtown area shows up as ag soils.
oh,
Right.
okay.
There's agricultural
And
soils.
I wonder if we could, to get to your point, if there'd be a way, particularly if we were encouraging that type of use of this more progressive thinking of how we are using that farmland soil.
Yeah.
If we have a separate, I wonder if it makes sense to tailor things. And here's a
Yeah.
agroforestry vision of this is land that would be prime agroforestry land or
Yeah.
something that we want to protect for this and share with a partner who's excited about that direction. Just because I feel like the more we lump into one map, we lose some of that
Yeah.
important distinction.
Like I'm maybe like just it's hard for me to like imagine. I guess I'm more of a visual person, but like if we are if that's like getting counted along with the forests, and maybe so that's showing the places that are not currently farmland right now, but could be, that is something to like tie into the big conservation map is like plan to prioritize, because of the potential that it has. And maybe that makes sense to have it like also or instead in another map.
Mhm.
But I feel like I would like to see what that map is saying, to really feel like I can 100% get behind it.
Yeah.
I feel like if are going to redo the scoring system to take the prime farmland soil of this equation would be to figure out how to add on the pollinator corridor layer, because I think that seems more relevant here. I think I could do it.
One thing that came up on our Griswold walk was maybe tying in woodlands as pollinator habitat.
Yeah, there is.
So that's like an overlooked thing that we could even have like the Xerces Society like come and like tell people how important woodlands are and how structural diversities and differently managed woodlands can be for pollinators.
We really want to go crazy, we could have a biodiversity map of the
Well,
town.
on there is actually that is on
That's like, well, we took up one side.
Yeah. That's on the list. There's a, what do they call it? A biodiversity, conservation plan. Biodiversity conservation plan to ID existing natural habitat and communities and prioritize conservation restoration areas. That's a thing to do. So
Yeah.
that could be a map that we work on for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Can
think,
add-
oh, go ahead.
So just as far as like I get like kind of the overarching theme it seems like everyone's talking about is like the theme of the map, like having one be like a habitat conservation priority and then one being agricultural conservation priorities based on like ag like what was it called? Ag soil, prime farmland soil. But you could like once you make that separate map, you can see where current ag lands intersect with prime farmland soils and then extract that intersection to add to the greater
Oh, yeah.
land conservation priorities, so that could be its own value. So it's like prime soil farmland that's currently being farmed, and then that would be like its own, instead of it being prime farmland soil, it's prime farmland soil that's currently farmed. And then
Do
that would
you,
be a value.
that's a great idea. Do you have any current mapping or I guess I could probably pull it from the open space plan of what's currently farmed.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a layer. I just know, yeah, it is in the open space plan. When I'm at the office, I could talk to Eric about it and see if I mean, I feel like it makes sense. It would be a layer that we would have already.
Yeah,
It's a hard one to quantify, so a lot
Yeah.
of that's missing, actually.
Oh, yeah,
I-
because it would just be like if it's in chapter, whatever.
chapter 61.
Yeah, 61A we could have. We could
Yeah.
say.
But that's easy. I can pull that out.
Would the farming commission have any information?
They would probably just,
Commissions.
yeah. Well, I could pull the list of APR and then chapter 61A.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be a reasonable start.
The interesting thing is if you drive down Leiden Road, because there's farms down there.
Mhm.
And, I forget the name of the farm now, that's one of the main farms on Leiden. The one, if you're going north on the right, I'm forgetting the name. It used to be Tottenham's Farm. And then someone else has it now, and a lot of it's turning into old field. So that's the hard thing about A is it might still be in 61A, is it? And I don't think they're really doing anything with it. They used to graze cows and I think hay it.
Hmm.
And some of that's just, nothing's being done.
That's part of the reason I think why it's so hard to have those maps be
That's what I'm
accurate.
saying, is
It's pretty.
Yeah.
it's always difficult because right. And then someone else might buy it and then, hey, take everything out and then put it back to hay or corn or something else.
Maybe that if a long-term map project, figure out what kind of farming is being done.
Mhm.
I mean, it's interesting, like just outside of Greenfield, and through Deerfield, there's farms, but they're sod farms. So, but like,
Right.
yeah, there's such a, like you were saying, feedlots, but it's a different thing.
I'd love for this committee, I don't know if this is, whatever, mission creep, but but I love I've always wanted to have a land use plan of Greenfield where you could really see, what's important. And so then you could make decisions. Let's say the people who are interested in housing could look at it and use this as a way of better understanding where's the best place to put houses.
Mm.
So, or where's the best place, and that the farm soil stuff is so important. I mean, if humans are going to live here, we need food. We need farmland. And so we need to keep those things in our minds. So I don't know if it's too big of a thing, but I love what you Patty, what you put on the table here.
Hoping definitely what we're making will be used for that. I also saw citing solar battery stuff as a potential like goal to cite in greenfield owned space or state owned space. So the better that we can do this and show where to definitely not do that, the better. And I'm
Yeah.
curious about those details. So
It's an awesome point that I had not thought of as a benefit of this. The value of the zeros are actually quite high. The zeros and ones are very helpful information.
Yeah.
That's a great point. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
It'd be nice to have this with public transportation as well on
Mhm.
that.
yeah.
That's on the
Speaking
next
of-
one.
speaking of which- Jessica, did you have anything else to add on this map before we look at the downtown?
No, I do agree with whoever made that point that less is more, like not adding too much and to try to have like a bigger story on one map because with all the parcel shapes and sizes it can be like cluttering and hard to get the like take home message out of it. So I think this looks really good. I think rivers do add like a geographic, like whatever, like a compass almost to, for local people who understand where rivers are. Like for, me, like I'm like, where's the Green River? Green River swimming area. Just to help orient me with like where these parcels are. So I think that would be helpful. And what else? And now I think it looks great. I think you guys have done a great job and it's really coming together. Yeah, thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
And just to be clear, it's mostly Allison, so shout
Yeah,
out.
thank
shout
you,
out to
Allison.
It's all about us.
As far as putting the map together. Great. So last time we had talked about pulling out the urban center here. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this, Allison?
Yeah, I think I like how Patty was talking about like storytelling, and this is where I lost the story that we were trying to tell. I remember that we said we wanted to pull out the downtown area, and then I was kind of like, oh, but what are we trying to say here? Are we trying to show? Oh, there are the vacant lots there, sorry. Are we trying to show where the vacant lots are that might be the best for the city to do something with? Do we want to show where downtown areas don't have good access to bus stops and bike routes that are close to permanently protected land? Yeah, I guess just more brainstorming on what's our mission? What's our story?
Yeah, my couple thoughts, and my couple quick thoughts are the open space, I think, is a layer that could just be helpful here, not necessarily permanently protected, but there is an open space layer that, because really, I think what we're thinking about is access for people to open space of some kind, which would include like Energy Park and some smaller parks. So, and then I know that a large part of this area is environmental justice, but there's a couple of parts that aren't. And the parts that aren't, well, along the eastern edge have great access to nature. And so like that whole the east of High Street is like a low priority in general because of it not being environmental justice and having great access to protected land. But I don't know if we want to designate on here somehow in exchange, there's like one area, there's like one little patch that's not environmental justice.
Yeah, it's like three blocks.
Yeah.
What makes how does it rank? Like, what is environmental justice and what is not?
These are all income categories. So there's multiple EJ categories. This part of the town is just one EJ category, which is low income. This part is low income and minority. It scores for both. I don't know exactly how they come up with those layers, but that's how the town's broken out.
Yeah, I think it's by census.
Yeah.
Hmm. Interesting.
I think the other thing I was thinking about was maybe the ecological conservation value doesn't need to be on this map at all.
Right.
That's not really the purpose here, and that might reduce some visual clutter outside the downtown area. I can just show what's permanently protected. And maybe like I think is that Green River Park over there, or just like labeling the park areas?
It might be useful to know the uses, right?
Yeah.
So park and trails versus farm,
Mhm.
you know, that way you can tell, okay, so these folks aren't close to the river, but they're close to this farm.
Mhm.
Yeah, right.
I want to make sure I'm looking at the same thing you guys are looking at. Is it the land access map?
Oh, sorry. I'm just sharing it locally. I'm having some sharing technical
It's
difficulties here all
labeled
of
the
a sudden.
Greenfield Downtown Access Map.
Yeah, the
That-
access map. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it up on the meeting screen now?
Now it is, yeah.
Okay, great.
And I was looking at that, but then you were talking about like the various environmental justice areas, and I didn't see where you were looking for that.
Yeah, sorry, that I was just moving the cursor because I thought I was sharing the screen.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, can you see the cursor now?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So I was just saying how very generally this area scores for two environmental justice categories of income and minority, and this area is low income only EJ
Okay.
community. That very loosely.
Yeah, and I could add that back on. I think most of downtown is an environmental justice area, so it's just, but I
Yeah.
think it would be helpful to show it on there.
Yeah, maybe it could be like a light background color that
Yeah.
just distinguishes that. Yeah.
That would be helpful.
The differences or like the kind of ranking there. Sorry.
Just showing that it's an environmental justice area.
Yeah.
So that's not on there at all.
So I'm just curious, if we look at the downtown, is there any way of saying what's the percentage of it that's environmental justice? And what isn't? I'm just curious.
That blue line is the outline, isn't it?
I think, do I have it up here? I was looking at it before. Yeah, so this is the two, this is income and minority population, and this is just income. So, no, it's kind of hard to see.
There's that funny little triangle there that
Yeah, I
doesn't,
don't
it's
think-
not part of it. That's so
I don't know if that
interesting.
makes sense.
I think
Yeah,
that's interesting to
Yeah, that's-
see.
Where you live, Pat?
What?
No.
Oh, is that the high
That's not-
school?
I
So
live
this-
in the blank spot.
Oh, you
you
do?
live in the hole. Yeah, so
Privilege.
there's a strange little hole there.
I think
Uh,
it's the high school, but it's also south of the high school.
Yeah.
Right,
That's Federal. Oh, no, it's Davis. So it's between Davis and Federal. Oh,
right.
actually,
Yeah.
no, I'm on the other side. I'm not in a blank spot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so-
I wouldn't have
Yeah,
predicted
it's
that
very,
either.
it's very interesting. Yes,
Yeah.
that's one. maybe?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
must be those are the
Baseball
It is-
fields,
it is
yes.
weird.
Yeah.
I think as like defining what
I moved out of it. That's what
what EJ means and how it's ranked, just for clarity for anybody looking at the map, I think that this would be useful to show. And as for what else, like of a story to say about downtown, I feel like having the buried stream very clearly shown would be cool, especially to consider possibilities for stormwater management there, in as like potential new kind of park space or garden space that communities could connect to, and also the roadside mowing map. There's a few places
Oh, yeah.
downtown, so those seem like they might be a little bit more floriferous. And
you would add the roadside mowing to this one?
To the downtown, yeah, because that would be places that would end up having more pollinator habitat. So then that
Right.
becomes like more valuable open space for people to engage with.
Can I see the mowing map? Thank you.
Is
I
the,
think there's another piece of the pollinator action plan that shows existing pollinator areas or potential.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah,
just like Mark, I could add that to the map.
Is that the one that had the pollinator corridor that was,
Yes, I think it,
I don't know if that was implemented or was a plan or a goal or.
there's one map that shows both potential and current.
Yeah, Alice, I was just curious, is there a map that shows, is it Maplebrook, it's buried, shows where it is?
I don't know if there's a map of
Because-
Maplebrook.
I'd
I've
be
seen
interested
one.
to see, you know, how many yards and everything it goes. Because I could just see telling people, well, we're gonna put the stream back in here, people just having,
Right.
having been on the Concom years ago. I mean, people aren't,
It goes underneath the hospital, for
yeah,
example.
so that's not.
That's not
come
gonna be
back up.
daylighted.
yeah, right.
There are a lot of really wet properties that I hear people like trying to deal with, like whether they're
Almost all of
gardening.
Greenfield has wet basin.
Yeah, 'cause there's a
lot of
brooks, like meant to be there.
Oh,
Well,
wetlands.
yeah, it's more, I
I mean,
think it's
the
more
wetlands.
complicated than that. but-
Right, yeah.
I mean, there's, you know, there are wetlands all over the place and they just throw soil on top of them and then there's no more.
All the day.
Uh-huh.
But there it is.
Um,
I wonder for this map, do we want to have it? Do we want this area outside to the west of 91 and north of Route 2 and do we want that included? Or does that add?
I think so, because
Yeah.
I think another thing to say would be like how we could encourage connections like this, the patches and corridors, like there are some patches circled downtown here, and I don't know if that's gardens. It looks like it might be pollinator gardens and rain gardens. And if there's any way that we could, like, knowing the context of where these corridors are going, and there's like big obstacle of downtown, like maybe that would give some direction of like, well, we should try to connect these big corridors so that it's
Yeah, and there's all this parkland that's public on both the, east and the swimming area and stuff that are obviously. I was thinking about, I love all the trees being here, but on the other hand, they're so large.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to see where the green spaces might be. Or maybe the green spaces could be a different color or something. I'm not sure, but.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh, the vacant lots.
Vacant lots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
vacant lots.
Oh, the green spaces are vacant lots?
Yeah. It's not good color coding. I don't know why I did that.
I didn't realize that there were
Right.
two things there.
But like there's the community garden behind the senior center, that's
Yeah, that's-
green space.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not even on there.
There's a few little green space spots
Right.
Yeah.
here and there's Shattuck Park, for example, is in the middle of town and even, I don't know, you could hardly call that, you can't call that a green space. I was thinking about Veterans Wall.
That would be.
I don't think it has a single native
Vacant
plant.
lots.
The vacant lots are on there.
Okay.
Are they ones that are owned by the city and owned by private citizens, or is it just one or the other?
Let me check.
Because I have seen some map where it was indicated what's owned by the city. And that
Oh.
seems really interesting too, especially if they are vacant.
Right.
Those are potentials to turn them into parks or something
Right.
else.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, these are all city-owned vacant lots.
Okay, yeah,
Yep.
yeah, so that's great.
So what's the thought on the trees? Is that something?
I
Figure out how to.
make them a different color. I mean, I don't know, it's really important
Hmm.
to be able to see where the trees are missing.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Mhm.
But maybe they should be a tail color and the park should be a darker, or something, some differentiation.
So those are all street trees?
Yep, yep, that's from Mary.
Oh, yeah, they're not trees that are in people's yards.
I wonder if it would,
Oh, they're just street trees. Okay.
Yeah.
what it would look like if we showed where there weren't trees.
Say that again?
If we showed where there weren't trees.
I think that's, what Nancy,
that-
if I like changed the color or made them like smaller, then you could see where there's not corridors of street trees.
Yeah, that would definitely.
Yeah.
But this doesn't show the tree canopy beyond the trees on the tree belt.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't, you know,
Yeah, it would be interesting. There's a lot of like shared land, like just the way that the blocks are, like sometimes there's like forest right in the middle of behind the properties. Or maybe like, I don't know, I feel like I wish I could see that.
but it's not public, most of it. Or
Yeah, it's not public, yeah.
But there are like on Conway Street, across from the Valley Medical Place, there's a triangle
Yeah.
for the Elm and Conway, and the tree committee planted a bunch of trees, and now that's a no man's land.
Yeah.
So there are little places like that, which are significant, I would say.
Yeah.
There's also the little park down on Deerfield Street that's got the fish in it.
Right. Yeah.
Or even the triangle. I don't know how small the space, but the triangle between where Elm Street comes off of Main Street.
The
Mm.
You know,
municipally owned land.
A couple of large trees there and a picnic
Yeah.
and a
Like,
bench.
So those are the vacant ones.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I need to put on like, the city
Yeah.
so,
parks.
okay, so it was not private, it was just all city.
And indicating public access, obviously.
Yeah.
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 Did we just lose the map?
Well, my computer goes to sleep and then it decides to stop sharing and see if it's going to come back. Nope, didn't come back. Jessica, just want to keep an eye on our time here. We are short on it. Is there anything else that you had to add about the urban core map?
No, I don't totally understand, the goal of the urban core. You know, how Allison was saying, like, that the story was lost. So I guess I don't really totally understand what the goal is. I'm like trying to find the map. Oh, it's a picture. That's why. Okay. Because like you have all these shade trees and then the vacant, like, are you just trying to understand, like heating there's like a lot going on with these layers, like heating patterns with the urban, like, what do they call them? Heat islands, or, then access to open space with, public transportation. I don't like pollinator gardens. Like I get that it's like there's value from like just like a mental health standpoint of having like pollinator gardens around you, but I don't know that I consider that open space. If the building yard has, pollinator garden, I don't know. I don't totally understand what the goal of this urban center is, the urban center map.
Yeah, the main goal is that we saw that from a open space perspective and trying to create and protect open space, that our goals would be different in the urban core than they would be outside of town. And that the goals would more be focused on the human experience as perhaps the first goal, with some other wildlife goals connected, but really a focus on the human experiencing that open space, as opposed to the others where it's probably first goal is wildlife. And
Right. So
so-
just having like it just being like a greener, more natural space between the concrete.
And access for people that don't have the access to get from their home to a place where they can be in a natural setting of some kind, even if it's a
Yeah.
smaller park. I think that, that's my goal. Somebody
Yes.
else may have different.
I definitely want to still consider it as like ecologically valuable, like either like the pollinator gardens are serving like valuable habitat in an urban context. And that's a different kind of habitat for different species. And then the corridors, the connectivity is extremely important to be connecting these places through downtown. And it'd be interesting to also see like where where is wildlife crossing. I couldn't find a layer for that, but I did hear of another thing called Omniscapes, which might be helpful. So I'd like to see how that, like, if we can get an understanding of how that's happening downtown through the gardens, through whatever. That's important to tell. And then also potentially how it could be increased, whether like through the green infrastructure, the rain gardens, and maybe detention ponds that might, however they're thinking of dealing with the stormwater. The city could become more ecologically valuable, but it definitely has some value already, and increasing it would also benefit people. I'd like to say that.
Yeah, I guess in my mind, it's sort of they're just reversed priority. Like in the urban core, I see their people as the first priority and I don't know, that's just my own perspective. And then outside the urban core, I see that flipped. Yeah. It's both having value in both places.
I'm just gonna say, someone who lives in the urban part, like on Hastings Street, like I've seen over the years I've lived there, over 100 species of bird in my backyard.
Yeah, right.
And I purposely do things for birds. So if you had a massive educational campaign to try to make people, more aware of how to make their yard wildlife friendly if they want that.
Right. Yeah.
And, another thing is like, does anyone know where Walnut Street is and Davis Street?
Yes, yeah.
Like several years ago, we were driving around, we saw a bear
Mhm.
and on that crossing the road, and there's a little tiny urban, forest in there behind people's, houses. So it just amazes me that there are bears. I mean, they've been in my yard too.
Yeah, mine too.
So, yeah, probably all of us have had bears in our yards here.
We saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, I live right across from Walnut Street.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's crazy. So there's habitat, there's definitely habitat there and you could probably improve, although I don't know if you want to encourage bears, obviously.
Wait, just know your compost. No problem.
Yeah, and potentially like what I think the audience for this, if they can kind of see like where these patches are right now, and if maybe DPW is changing their mowing practices and it becomes even more valuable, that might build momentum for the private land owners to like see how they can connect and like see what their role in that might be.
Thinking about the human side, I don't know if there's analysis that shows like how many people per square, acre or
Yes.
whatever, have access to a park or this far or this close from a.
Yeah, I was thinking of that too.
That might be.
Say that everyone should live within a 10-minute walk
Yeah,
of green space,
Right.
that kind of a thing.
and I know there's a couple of splash parks, or is there just one splash park in town?
One.
So heat and climate change, those are issues along with the shade trees. That might be-
Mhm.
The Trust for
Yeah.
Public Land has a tool. I don't know if
To
you-
do that?
It shows you, like, you can type in your city and it shows you the average walking distance to.
Oh, interesting.
They have a neat little tool.
Yeah, I think you can I could do that by, yes, parcel and then proximity to another layer. So I could probably show that.
It is our time here. Jessica, thanks so much for joining us. I think.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Key next steps, we'll obviously be going over this a little bit more in our next meeting or whenever Allison has time. No pressure, Allison, whenever you have time to get into changes. But we'd love to talk more with folks from different departments as well. We've talked about that as a next step after we come to a place that we feel like it's a shareable place, just to start to get other input and start to share it more broadly. So we'd love to involve you in that when we get to that next step.
Yeah, absolutely. And just so you guys know, the director of planning, Eric, is retiring on the 19th of December, and so we're going to have a switch in department head in December.
Yeah, great. We actually were, before you hopped on, we were just talking about that. Yeah.
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 The new person seems to be here. Is that accurate?
I heard that maybe training was starting today, so I haven't been in yet to meet them. So yeah, I'll know tomorrow.
Yeah. Great. Well, thanks so much for being here.
All right, thank you. You guys have a good night.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Patty, we did not get to the pollinator. Sorry about that. We'll make sure that that's
Not much to say.
okay. Perfect. And we're out of time. Thanks so much, everybody. I guess we do need an official motion.
So move.
I'm sorry, before we continue with that motion, our next meeting is December 22nd. Remember that it's a Monday, the 22nd. And Allison, if you feel like it's a reasonable time frame, I know it's such a busy time of the year. So if that's not, no pressure whatsoever. We can wait till January.
I will strive to have them both done, but if not, I could definitely have the land conservation priorities map.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for your work on that.
Yeah,
That's
I think
amazing.
the access map is gonna take a tinkering.
Oh, yeah. I'm happy to chat
Okay,
outside of me to be
Okay.
helpful to bounce ideas.
Great.
More outside. I'm happy. to do
Great.
that.
okay.
I move to
Please continue.
adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.